Hello, Ollie, Saturday the 2nd of November 2019 CE. I'm going to get straight into it. I've done a video, I think it was 18th of April 2018, middle of April 2018, introducing silver water in the form of coconut oil. So it's not overnight therapy. I've a little triangle patch. There's about a thumbprint, thumb size has gone, a sideward thumbprint from that. So as we go closer in, the psoriasis from the elbow is right on the tip. Obviously that's my joint, and then as I extend out, it remains a little bit, unhappy, we'll say there. It's not anyway lumpy, flaky. It's happy in itself. Every day it has oil, or every other day. So you can see a petering off, a triangle shape, like an afterburner effect, like a flame, with the new skin. It was all the way up there. I started treating before I started videoing, so I can only go from the video of the April time, which was there. So yes, Kev, mouldy. Says you are, if you was a grandpa, you'd be a grumpa, a grumpy grandpa. I'm only messing. I'm sorry to just come out randomly, but I need to give an update on this. There are other ways to treat mould, parts of your body. Thanks, Kev. I know you're only playing. But Josh, speaking to Josh X, helped a lot with understanding or inner standing, king standing, fungus, cells, candida, white foods, bleach foods, processed foods, internal effects, mucus and stickiness from dietary intake, and then internal problems. So if you'd like to go on the channel, if you search YouTube and you put psoriasis, that's a dyslexic's nightmare. I'm getting the hang of that. And you put Indiglo, it will bring all the videos up I've done, and amongst others will come up as well. And I think I might do that afterwards and make a playlist. So there's no medical advice here. It's independent, alternative experimentation with elements, not drugs, because that content in there is just comprised of distilled aqua, and then via an old charger, effectively 2 bits of silver and electrolysis between the two negative and positives, and then it goes orange. So I am not fully, much like the needle on the record and the music that comes out from that subsequent bouncing of left and right. I will never understand the magnificence of the, it works. I've seen it. It's wires, magnets, resonant sound. It's so that's got also, I will let you know, I put prayer into that, Reiki, power of intent, and Bosnian pyramid water in it. It says something like per 5 or 10 litres, so many mils to put in to equalise that. So what we do, more to the point, is if you have skin irritations and you find treatments out there, it's not too red or annoyed at the minute, and there is no pain. Once I give it a couple of these, it's better doing it at night time. If you have a severe area, I would get bandages and I would soak, spray that onto sterilised bandages and consider letting it seep in, cling film and such things. So that's just sprayed, wet the area, and then I let that, it's a little drip there, look, I just let that work its way in. There's thousands of millions of particulates of silver, so I'm led to believe. I have made this, and the videos are on the channel of the method. So that goes like that, and then it will go slightly red on the places where it's kind of fixing. If things go red when you treat them, it generally means there's a reaction, yes, and there's no pain, there's no blood. Done this a long time, and then that's it, effectively. That's your treatment. I sometimes just let it dry before putting on an oil of your choice. Oils are various and many, organics and pure and non-processed, and the Greeks and olive oil. So I'll leave that thought with you. I have chosen to use a particular brand because I've seen a lot of women use it, and I don't know if it is the best. It's working. I presume, I dare say there would be better, but it's got you know, no, it's got these acids in it, and oil free, paraben free. My eyesight's going. I need to take a photo and make it. It's too small for me to read. Non-comedogenic, dermatologically tested, and so forth. So after that treatment's on and it's dried, I just let that dry. I just put a couple of sprays there. It's nothing massive. It's a little couple of dots, and then I'll put my elbow into that, and then seal everything on. Give it a blast round, and that's it. That's the colloidal silver treatment with oil, and I've been doing that for a year and a half. It was to about there. I can only testify and prove to about there on the scale. It's about a thumbprint when I stretch it out to where it was. For those of you, and this is a tiny, non-problematic area, but I know there's members of the fam that have skin complaints and whatnot, and I'd like to share what you're doing, what you've got, other such oils and treatments and remedies, as we call them, formerly labelled as cures. And we're not subject to acts. I can bring the faith, not the false faith, the substance over the form. So you'll see it's gone a little bit red. It doesn't, with them two treatments on, it doesn't, get any problems there. And it's not the greatest of camera. I need a high def really for the study of that. But in the middle, there is a clean area that's coming through, and it will probably break into two as it did around about there from that bit. As you can see, that white triangle where it resided, which is roughly the thumbprint, space of it that's gone. So I've achieved a remission. I'm not claiming any cure or medical, anything advice. What we're saying is, I like to experiment with things and try. That has reduced. It's taken a long time. It's not an overnight remedy. I am 40 plus, and I've had this for over 20 years. So I've never achieved any reduction. I've achieved making it happy, and it's sitting where it is. And then while it's happy, it doesn't spread. When it becomes unhappy, it would quickly get red, bleed, flake, and spread. So I was putting oils, E number oils and E45s and so forth, and I went to the doctors. They did mention steroid cream, but it wasn't a problem. It wasn't big enough. It's just annoying. But to others out there that I have friends, family with eczema and skin treatments like that, that's really something to say, wow, I don't know how I'd cope with that. So this is nothing in the grand scheme. It's just a localized, isolated area of which the elemental forces of which we've got and the structure of applied in the right circumstances may be more beneficial to man. It's the benefit that we're after of things, outlay, information, side effects, ingredients, etc. I'm going to bring other such documentaries that contain information and sources for you to evaluate and look at, and you can get back to me with your due diligence and findings. So this is just my little video blog I've done many applications with the silver water inside, ingesting it. I found it effective for when you've gone across the pans and there's a jet of steam that you don't see, or you go into the oven and something happens and you end up touching, you get them red little pink marks straight away, or the steam burn. If you spray that on and you put a towel around it and you keep it damp, you'll find in the supermarket outlets silver particulates and compound within the plasters themselves. So early on, not medieval, but after the dark and the medieval times, hundreds of years ago, silver, particulate, certain types of silver would be administered intravenously into the vein for mass infection and everything. So not mass infection, but such types of blood and infections internally. Silver sixpences going into dairy to make it last longer. So interesting. It's made with the same process as like the hydrogen technology, water, electricity, tiny amps and volts, nothing massive. Do not try to create this if you're not sure about the laws of physics and etc. Safety is first. And I will see. I expect another year, to be honest. If you ask me that question before that's gone in its entirety, you can just see like the shaping of where it was. So I've achieved enough. I'm happy. I haven't used pharmaceutical toxins. I have used a brand, though I'm perhaps going to get pulled down for that. Shame on me. Yes, it can be improved. So I'll look for your comments. I don't know it all, and this is not a fix. This is just something that I thought I'd experiment with and catalogue and bring to you for a chat and a decision. So if you got anything for me, I'll look at that now. Again, like I say, the sunshine and what happens there with things, you need to be careful. Research the UV properties of silver water and what happens, or indeed if you have some, put some into a cup, bottle, a glass, a clear receptacle, and take that water with the silver added in outside into the sunlight and leave it. And if like what happened to me, it did go purple. There may be a video of that. So okay, let's see the comments and the fam, and then why does bicarb of soda kill it? My sister, do you know why? What's the reason behind that? Thank you, Lisa. Much love to you. I need to send you an email, don't I? I did notice. Thank you, and fist bumps to Lisa. You are our sister star there. And Molly, I will get back to you over the beginning of next week. I do believe there's an email for you. Da Job Vision. Hi everyone, is that right? Easy. How we doing? Much love. Steve, wow, long time. Evening. How we doing, bro? You can see the new skin generate. Yes, Lee, it's not a very good high definition camera that I'm on, but others, if you can catalogue that and bring to us, then it's not so much the chemical composition we're finding that is beneficial to man. Sometimes just the mere simple transformation. Shout going out to subscribe, a fly on the wall for that. It's as simple as this. You have structured atomically water in a plastic bottle. We have other such waters in the house. This isn't the only one, but you would get that water, and even the tap would do, and then simply doing that has now changed the molecular structure. If you put the water, notice how it spirals as it pours. If you put the water through spirals, right ascension spirals, okay, when you're making colloidal silver water, you put Reiki into it, you can put Bosnian, such like purifications into it. Now that's had, sterilized by steam as I've opened that. Thank you, Fly, for this. You would take that with you on your horse about your travels for the day now, and put some crystals in, shungite, things that you're sending me, and what we're doing, simple Occam's razor type, very effective. So that now from this plastic bottle, let me just for the love of corporate branding, how it is out there, I'll do my best to. So that's not ideally the best way to have your water. I have tested this and distilled it, and it comes back with very low compound and composition, and that's stored in the sunlight. Changes, we know about the plastics and the pollutants and etc. That is not very practical to ship around in pallets and lorries and weights and so forth. So we have an issue with water content, water quality. Science, I'm not a scientist, but I am a scientist in another way, like we are phoneticists. And if we can remedy, maintenance and cure ourselves without the Rockefeller Medical Institute and its affiliated partnerships and their subsequent benefits from giving us, then we have the right. And that is very simple, very effective. It came first from me seeing that from Brother Smithy showing me Sadhguru, and I'm like, who, what, where? So I had a look at that, and I mentioned it to others who knew of Sad, Dr. Sebi, Gerson, these legendary men in our realm. So what would you do then? You put that in a nice clean receptacle, such as this one, and then that, instead of, even though it's come out of a horrible bottle, and that's not the most purest of water receptacles to have, it now going from that to that, there's scientific information about the molecular structure of the water, and by then swizzling it, crystals, shungite, right ascension, meridian, you could have a different type of pour. Look at water fragmentation, water fractionalization, and imploded water, to name a few. That's now a different property to that. I am fully convinced. I haven't done any testing, and you can have a look at that and tell it you love it and put some Reiki into it. So there's a lot gone on with that, just in a simple process and some seconds. You put it in your body, your body's made of it. Respect it, love it, and acknowledge it. What in the world are they spraying is a documentary that I've watched recently. You might want to try and find that. I've had it for some time. I believe it come out in 2012-ish, early 2010s. There's been 7 years of intensive research into water that is considered pure, and in islands such as Hawaii, we'll say, on this particular documentary, where they have isolated water at the foots of valleys, no plants of chemical nature, no industrial, genetically modified free, and they've analysed these realms because they've seen grey areas, silky silver skies, and this poor resident dweller there, indigenous Hawaiian man, has got a pond with aquatic life in, and he's had problems recently, and he's sent water off for sampling. He's done scoops of the bottom of the pond, and they found under analysis the 3 main properties of which keep coming up time and time again. The main property that's infecting the realm's water that I've found from my 7 years worth of research: I am hydro orientated, I am hyper, I am hyper hydrogen, and this realm, it seems, if you look, and please do your research, disclosure and discovery will come upon you, where there's elevated amounts of aluminium in our blood, in our plants, in our soils. In this documentary and subsequent reports and PDFs that you can find, is something like, what in the world are they spraying with? Are they spraying us with? And in that, they claim these facts. They also analyse parts per million of aluminium in the realm naturally occurring, something like under 10 parts per million. I can articulately say, I think it's about 2 or 6. If you do a little, you'll find I'm in the ballpark. What they found is independent studies by the same people travelling the realm with the same equipment, the same labs, the same everything, but going to different places, are finding elevated amounts of this chemical. And they've looked at plants and vegetation, fishes, mammals, fires, and it's very interesting, the quality of that. So if you are able to study and help me and correlate, I've got a man called Lyndon from down south that submitted some information, evidence from distillery. So it's very interesting, it's very important. And as for skin complaints and these things, then I just got a text message, sorry, I'm trying to let that go. I'll be back with further updates and articulation. So I'm not claiming a cure, I'm claiming some kind of remedy, and the maintenance for that is it's up to you how you govern and how you do that. But it's no longer growing like it used to on top of itself and going all white and getting annoying, and that's when it flakes and gets in your face. So the quality of the water you drink does help your body's alkalinity, but let's face it, if we purify everything, once you go out into a polluted, that way then the door of the realm, it's starting again. We've seen Santos with his discoveries of he said it, so I'll repeat it: targeted individuals and Morgellons and glass and microparticles, nanoparticles, looking at the food in itself and the seeds and the genetically modified Monsanto high aluminium, just patented a seed we did that's resistant to aluminium. As it happens, everywhere's got a lot of aluminium. Now, I'm not going to say anything to if it is Monsanto, Bayer, wherever it's been hidden and sub-hidden and bought and moved and stocks and acquisitions, but somewhere along that line, not by accident, the commercial genetically modified seed centre, like the Department of, have got a seed ready for mass sale that will grow in high aluminium grounds, when that's only happened over the last 10 years, they can say, because things weren't like this 10 years before. So something's happened in the last 10 years, and it's affecting plant kingdom, man kingdom, health, wealth and water. I haven't got the answers. I've got some of the research and discovery. So I like to bring it to you and we do it together. So that's simple, alchemic, all right? I'm an alchemist, if anything, not an anarchist. That's closely connected, but alchemy, and to a shout going out to the Black Pharaohs. All right, out of chem. Steve McRae says, Jesus, what happened? Yes, we'll leave that for now. This is a psoriasis video. I'm on later at 10 p.m. with a tube church chat. I'll give you bits of updates, and we'll have a chat and a good late night session with the masters here. So we'll do that later. All right, we'll stick to psoriasis. So I'm going to read and then not comment. Much love to all. Thank you, scribes, initiates. Strong guys, antifungal. Antifungal, yes, I got you. Simple effectiveness, JJ, you like that? Body of sugar, because sugar feeds big C. It does indeed. Well, sugar processed white. There's a study done in the 60s. I believe it's the 60s on rats and mice and stuff that proves that. I used to have the title, but I'll have to dig that out. And then you put your expert in alllegalmatters.com. You are welcome to do that. That doesn't mean to say that this channel or anybody is endorsing Steve McRae and expert in alllegalmatters.com. We care, we allow to share. I am not affiliated with this or mixed up in any of that controversies that I'm sure you are all privy to if you need to be. We give full, consent for all to share if it's relevant and it benefits man. I'll leave it at that. Okay, that's my disclaimer. Thank you all. You should all have blue. Oh, I tried to disconnect. All right, yes. Aspartame, good point. Aye. We're talking about that with Matthew just later. Matthew's not in a good place. I'll bring that to you later. We're sticking to psoriasis and the comments. Dr. Simoncini, is that Molly? Thank you. Never heard of that. See, that's what makes me happy. Thank you. I will come back and check that later. All right, Kev, noted. JJ, atoms, deal, sugar. Yeah, it's not good. So there are other ways, there are other things. That's all I'm bringing to you. I am not subject to acts or management. My person is not here. I, David, am with the eliminations of the false faiths, false, what would we call it? False economy. So that's not my claim. That's what I've seen and what's been apparent. Using carcinogenic treatments to treat cancer and so forth doesn't make sense. So we know what we're allowed to do and what we've got to do. And so Brother Lyndon's got me some information about somebody being on the telebox and mentioning about mentioning about alternatives. I can't source and reference that, but any of you on the Anglo oils that may have seen something the other day referencing a newscast, I'll bring you more on that when I catch up with Lyndon. I was in a mind of, but I can't bring it to you now. So that'll do. We'll keep the psoriasis video related to that. I'll be back later with all of the updates, bits and bobs and interactions for you. This is a pleasure to drink. When you distill it and you put a little bit of pink salt in, get your minerals back up or whatever, however you want to do it, and you toroid it, and you concentrate on it, and you treat it, and you restructure it, and with a little bit of not much, you transform this liquid, this aqua, and you drink it, and the way that it absorbs and gets into you, it feels different, it tastes different, and it acts different. So it can be a fuel, it can be a lifesaver. It's an ingredient, and it's mistreated, misused, and it comes out of UK taps somewhat in a worse state, less better state than probably what it comes from the sky. And the comparison to the parts per million and chemical analysis, I'm aware there may be strontium and aluminium and etc. in the rainwater. Even with that, we'd learn to filter that, but be careful. If you can check and work and give me anything of relevance, please do, and I will over next week pardon me, be concise and bring you all the chemical details and evidences, disclosures, references, Freedom of Information Acts, videos, testamentaries, and etc. that I can. So that's how we roll. And like I say, another year I expect to be making the updates and saying it's a tiny little issue or it's totally gone. Urine therapy was mentioned to me, but I can't very well start using urine on that, which would be the ammonic, high ammonic content would be beneficial to put on such things as. So I'll see how it go. I'm happier, it's better, it's happier, and like I say, you are free to do what you want, see who you want, and I've got a little bit of way to go before that's gone. You can see where it's breaking up and how it is. Feet, also athlete's foot, these things like eczema. You'd look at that and we'd see, and we'd start putting stuff together ourselves and bringing the holistic way, alternatives ways, non-chemical and invasive. So with input from Josh, input from Santos, input from the realm and you, and then doing it direct is how we come to new opinions and thoughts and thereabouts. So love and thanks to all those names that I've mentioned, legendary. And so I'll be back later, and you'll see me soon. So thank you all. And if you've got some results, you can email David at splspro.com for private interaction. That's my primary email. I haven't got one for science, and perhaps I should make a little trust email for health and wealth, and then we can direct them all there. But I'll pick them up. I'm aware of other such things we need to discuss that are of a higher nature. Rick Simpson's oil, or RSO as it's called in the realm and in the game. RSO, what's this? Rick Simpson oil and so forth. So it's our oil, it's all ours, but he was one of the pioneering brothers that brought this to you. Like I say, I've got the mindset of where we need to be going with other such things. Oregano oil, incidentally, and nebulizing and so forth. If you look at that, it's not skin related, but inside related, and the hydrogen intake of will bring to you in due course with what Santos and the hydrogen man. So man keeps giving. So I'll be in touch, and I'll update you, like I say, in due course, and I'll get back to you with any other new things that we're doing. And once we've got the substance and the results, you can have them. Law stuff will be going straight through, private cast from now on. Speak to you later, Kev. You keeping fishing kettle again? What are you on about? Ciao. Much love. Blessings.